Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you on a little journey today. There was once a boy named Michael. He grew up in a small coastal town where the sea was both a friend and an enemy. Every morning, he would watch the fishermen go out with their boats, and every evening he would see them return, some with nets full of fish and others with nothing but empty hands. Life there was simple, but also difficult. Michael had a dream. He wanted to build a lighthouse on the rocky cliff at the edge of town. You see, many boats had been lost at sea when storms rolled in, because there was nothing to guide them back. Families cried over fathers and brothers who never returned. Michael thought, if only there was a light, a beacon, something to show them the way, maybe lives could be saved. But he was just a boy. What did he know about building a lighthouse? People laughed when he spoke of it. Impossible, they said. A child can't build a lighthouse. You need money, workers, tools, knowledge. You have none of those. And for a while, Michael believed them. He almost gave up on the dream. But one day, while walking along the shore, he remembered something his grandmother had once told him. It always seems impossible until it's done. Those words settled deep in his heart. Maybe, just maybe, it wasn't as impossible as everyone said. So, Michael started with the smallest step he could. He gathered stones from the beach. He carried them one by one to the cliff. People shook their heads, amused at his foolishness. A pile of rocks won't stop the sea, they teased. But Michael kept going. Day after day, stone after stone, he built a foundation. Weeks passed, months passed. His hands blistered, his back ached. There were nights when the wind howled and tore down what he built. He felt defeated, but each morning he returned to the cliff. Each morning he laid another stone. Over time, something incredible happened. A few friends grew curious and asked if they could help. One brought a shovel. Another brought wood. Soon, neighbors who had once doubted him began to lend their hands. The laughter turned into encouragement. The teasing turned into admiration. What seemed like one boy's foolish dream began to feel like the town's shared mission. Years passed. The tower grew taller. Michael studied books borrowed from distant towns about how lighthouses worked. He learned about mirrors and lamps, about how to focus light so it could cut through the darkest night. His dream was no longer just a dream. It was becoming a reality. And then, one fateful night, before the lighthouse was even finished, a terrible storm struck. The sea roared, waves pounded the shore, and a fishing boat was caught in the chaos. The people of the town gathered on the cliff, watching helplessly as the boat struggled against the waves. Michael, desperate, ran into his half-built tower. He grabbed a lantern, climbed the unfinished stairs, and held the light high above his head. His arms shook. The wind tried to snatch the lantern away, but he stood firm. Out at sea, the fishermen saw the flicker of light. It wasn't much, but it was enough. They turned toward it, guided by that single, fragile flame. And against all odds, they made it back to shore. That night, the people didn't laugh. They wept. They hugged their loved ones. And they looked at Michael not as a foolish boy, but as a hero. From that day forward, the whole town came together to finish the lighthouse. What once seemed impossible had become not only possible, but real. When the final stone was set, when the great lamp was lit, its beam stretched far into the horizon, protecting sailors, guiding fishermen, saving lives. Michael's lighthouse wasn't just a building. It was proof. Proof that no dream is too big, no challenge too hard, and no person too small to make a difference. Proof that impossible is just a word we use when we're afraid to begin. And my friends, Isn't that the truth in our own lives? We all face our own storms, our own rivers, our own towering cliffs. Maybe for you it's starting a business, writing a book, running a marathon, or simply changing something in your life that feels too heavy to move. At first, it will feel too far, too difficult, too impossible. People might even laugh at you. But remember Michael's story. Remember Nelson Mandela's words. It always seems impossible until it's done. The question is not whether the dream is possible. The question is whether you are willing to take that first step, to place that first stone, to lift that first lantern. The path will be hard. You will doubt yourself. You will face nights when the wind tears down what you've built. But if you keep going, if you stay true to that vision, something remarkable will happen. Others will join you. They'll see your courage. They'll feel your determination. And soon, what once felt like your lonely burden will become a shared victory. So today, I ask you to think about your own lighthouse. What is the dream you've put aside because it seemed too big? What is the goal you've delayed because others said it couldn't be done? What is the impossible in your life that is just waiting for you to begin? Ladies and gentlemen, it always seems impossible until it's done. But when it is done, when you stand on the other side of that dream, you'll look back and wonder why you ever doubted yourself. Thank you.